Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the very first episode of The Sleeve Chef. My name is Michael Salomon. I am here with my wonderful brother-in-law and beautiful sister. They are behind the scenes filming this episode. Thank you very much to both Rick and Joel for doing that. This evening we will be preparing pan-seared filet mignon with Castello blue cheese and sauteed spinach. Our goal with these cooking demonstrations is to show you how to prepare light, healthy, delicious food. So, without further ado, let's get cooking. So, first we're going to go ahead and take our filet mignon. Now, a couple points of interest about the filet mignon. Filet mignon comes from the tenderloin of the cow. The tenderloin of the cow is the most tender piece of meat on the animal. That's because the tenderloin sits right next to the spine on the back of the animal. So, to simplify it, the more often a muscle is used, the more tough that piece of meat is going to be. So, because the tenderloin is so is not used very often, the tenderloin itself will actually be more tender as opposed to, say, a shin or a calf that will actually be a bit more fibrous. So, we've got our filet mignon here. These look great. These are 6 ounces each. We're going to take a little bit of extra virgin olive oil here. We've got a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. We're just going to go ahead and pour that on top of our filet, like so. And you may hear our sous chef in the background. That's Frida. She'll be here every episode. All right, flip it over. Add a little bit more extra virgin olive oil here. We want to make sure we rub our fillets, get them nice and coated with that extra virgin olive oil. In case you aren't familiar, extra virgin olive oil is the first cold press of the olives. So we're going to go a little salt and pepper here, season up our steaks. This is just kosher salt and coarse ground black pepper. One of the things I find is when you season your steak, it's always easier to go a little bit higher. It helps you get a more even spread around your steaks. It's important too, make sure we get the sides of the steaks here, guys. When you're turning it around, make sure you get those sides as well as the top and the bottom. All right. Alright, so next, we're going to be talking about cooking technique. Our cooking technique this evening is called pan-searing. Pan-searing is a very high heat cooking method that involves very little fat. Our fat in this case is extra virgin olive oil. When you hear me say fat, I mean fat in a very widespread sense. So fat could be butter, fat could be olive oil, fat could be coconut oil, fat could be sesame oil, etc., etc. Or animal fat, saturated fats, versus polyunsaturated fats. So we'll go ahead and crank our pan up here. Kick our fan on. Alright. So we're going to be topping with Castello blue cheese. Castello blue cheese will remind you of Roquefort. It's creamy, it's nutty. You could really pick any blue cheese of your choosing for this episode. Just not blue cheese dressing, you want blue cheese crumble. Very important. So we'll let our pan get nice and hot here. So does anybody have any questions, comments while we're waiting here for the pan to get hot? No? Alright, I'll tell you a little bit about myself. A little bit about me. So I graduated from the Culinary Institute of America in 2004. I have had a love affair with food for a very long time. That's really sort of been the promise of this whole show. I was recently had a sleeve gastrectomy, vertical sleeve, September 2nd, 2016. I'm doing great. I really want to give a big shout out to all my comp friends and family out there. It's great to see everybody this evening. I've lost a bunch of weight so far. I'm down about 42 pounds right now. I'm feeling great. Feeling super healthy. I'm sure my family is watching, hopefully, as well. Hi, everybody. All right, so our pan sounds like it's getting nice and hot here. So it's really important to get that cast iron pan smoking hot. You really want to put a nice sear on that filet mignon. So what the sear is going to do is going to be triggered by something called a Maillard reaction, which is the browning of the protein on the top of the meat itself. That's what gives meat that brown color. It's very important. It helps create texture. It helps trap in juices when you're cooking a piece of meat. Very, very important. It will really help your steak to become properly cooked and give it a much more complex flavor profile. All right. Also, we'll be doing a sauteed spinach here. So we've just got some basic baby spinach, as well as ginger garlic paste. Classic ginger garlic paste, you can find that. It's available at really any good ethnic grocery store. You'll find that at H Mart. You'll find that at Ganesh Brothers. You'll find Wegmans will also carry it. Great product. I recommend going out and purchasing a big tub of it or a smaller tub if you're just starting off. All right. Alright, so we see a little smoke here. Alright, so it's important to have everything ready before we start cooking. So we pulled our filet mignon out of the refrigerator. We want to allow it to come up to room temperature. That will actually help it cook more evenly and cook more quickly. Also, we went ahead and pulled our spinach out. We had our Castello blue cheese here as well. We've got our pans on hot. We've got our extra Ronaldo salt and pepper on here. So let's go ahead and get started cooking here. You'll see one easy way to test a pan is place your hand very carefully right over the top of it here, because you can feel that heat radiating from that pan to the bottom of your hand. It'll give you an idea about how hot that pan is. Here. All right. So, I want to say hi to Mary, too. I'm sure she's out there watching. Hi, honey. Hope you're having fun riding back. Question?
One question.
Yes.
How long should I let the pan heat up? From Liz Filler.
Hi, Liz. So, great question. That's really a matter of what type of stove you have. Keep in mind, electric ranges will take longer to heat up than gas ranges. A gas range distributes heat more evenly, and it will allow you to get a hotter pan, basically. So really, you want to shoot for about 2 to 3 minutes is the goal. You'll start to see a little bit of smoke coming off your pan. That's okay. That's really when you know you're ready to go. All right. So we can drop a little bit of olive oil on our pan here. And then we're going to drop our fillets in the pan here. We're going to swing on over. So you see here, as you can see, you see that smoke coming off of that pan right there? That's what we're looking for. We want a nice, hot pan. Very important. So we've got our fillets. We're going to drop them down. You're putting them down. You're going to take them. You're going to sit them away from you. That's very important. You don't want it to splatter. So you're going to take the fillet. You're going to sit it down and away from you. Like so. Ready? That sizzle is what you want to listen for. That's exactly what we want, a nice hot pan. All right, now, the trick to this high heat cooking method is to leave your steak alone. This is pan searing. We've done our part here. The key thing is to allow your pan to get really hot. And for our spinach and garlic and ginger here, we're going to be sauteing. Sauteing is a cooking method that involves little to no color on the steak, or on the ingredient. So what we're looking for here is we're looking for low to medium heat, some fat in the pan, in our case extra virgin olive oil. We're going to add a little bit of our ginger garlic paste here. Oh, it smells so good. Again, you want to listen to that sizzle? We're going to take a handful of spinach. Keep in mind the spinach is going to cook down. So you can always put a little bit more in than what you need. Now, key thing is we don't want to leave our ginger garlic paste in too long. And it's just in the pan by itself, otherwise it'll burn. Take our salt and pepper here, again, some kosher salt, and some coarse ground black pepper. And you'll see, I'll do a little slower here, taking a pinch of pepper, we're going to the top of the pan, and just going around in a quick circle. We're basically doing a nice sauté spinach here. It looks a little bit dry. We've added a little bit more fat to the pan here. All right. So we're going to be shooting for medium rare for our steak here. Medium rare is about, medium rare is 125 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. So very important. Beef, when it's fully cooked, is 155 degrees Fahrenheit. It's well done. We have a nice hot sear here. See this, guys? You can swing it here, Rick. This is exactly what we're looking for. That's a Maillard reaction. That dark brown color, that's exactly what you want. Got another guy as well. Flip that over. All right, so I'd recommend if you want to do a pan sear and you want to do it well done, I would recommend, we really want to do anything above medium to medium well. So really medium well to well done, you want to have your oven on so you can finish it in your oven. Now I say that because the oven, as opposed to cooking directly from the bottom of the pan at a much higher heat, an oven will actually cook it, a convection oven will circulate that heat, cooking it at a lower temperature, 350 degrees, at a lower temperature to be cooking the steak more evenly, as opposed to all of our direct heat coming from the bottom here. So we're just basically, what we're doing here for our spinach, guys, is we're just wilting our spinach. So this is looking great. Spinach looks fantastic. Grab the rest of it here. As with spinach, you can always add a little bit more to the pan if you'd like.
Mike, we have another question from Allison Smith.
Sure. Hey, Allison.
How long have the steaks been on this bar, like before you flip them?
That's a great question, Allison. So, steaks were on for about 1.5 to 2 minutes before I flipped them. Now, there's a couple of reasons why they were on that long. One, pan searing is a very high heat cooking method. It's not going to take long to establish that crust, that Maillard reaction. Two, again, we're cooking about medium rare, right? So our goal here is to cook fast. And so medium rare for these steaks will not take long. Medium rare will take about 4 to 5 minutes at this current temperature. And one trick too that you can do here, you want to swing in real quick, Rick, is you can check it, right? So you can take a pair of tongs and just kind of take a look underneath and see how it looks. There we go. See that same color there? That's what we're looking for, right there. So you may ask yourself, how do we get the next part of the steak cooked? That looks like it's rare. It is rare right now.
Another question from Allison.
Yeah.
So cast iron is probably the only way to go?
So cast iron is the ideal way to go. You could certainly do it with a standard saute pan. just keep in mind that a standard saute pan is not going to conduct heat nearly as well as a cast iron pan will.
Liz Filler has a question.
Sure. What's up, Liz?
Do you weigh the steaks before or after cooking them if you're concerned with portion size?
That's a great question, Liz. So, if you're concerned with portion size, you always want to make sure you weigh your steak ahead of time. Keep in mind that during the cooking process, the steak will actually lower in weight because you're losing moisture. So, if you go out to eat and they say it's an 8-ounce steak, that 8-ounce steak is 8 ounces before it's cooked. It will be most likely, depending on how you get it cooked, the more well done it is, the more moisture it loses to get to reach that temperature. Therefore, the steak itself is actually going to look smaller and weigh less. Great questions, everybody. Please keep this coming. All right, so we're good to go here for our spinach. I'm going to lay that off to the side here. Turn off our heat. You'll see here, I went ahead and I turned our steaks on their sides. As you can see, that's still very rare right there. So in order to get it up to medium rare when we're pan searing, we're going to grab our steaks and we're going to sit them on their sides. All right, got a couple plates here. And we'll be ready to add the blue cheese shortly here as well. Spinach looks good. You can just take a quick shot in here, Rick. This is what we're looking for our spinach, everybody. That's nicely wilted, not overcooked. You'll notice there's not a lot of moisture in that pan. That's exactly what you want. I've seen videos, I've seen where people will add water to their spinach. That's okay, but it's not the ideal way to do it because what you end up with is just a very watery product. It's best to use sautéing when you're cooking your spinach. All right, so we're looking good here. Right at about our 4-minute mark. I'm going to go ahead and drop our heat just a bit here. I'm going to cut some blue cheese. I'm going to add that right to the top. Now, when you're handling a knife, it's very important. Keep your fingertips tucked in, and you want the side of the blade, side of the knife, to go up against that middle knuckle. All right? So fingertips tucked in, side of the blade up against that knuckle. We're going to come straight down. It's a great piece of blue cheese. You'll notice I cut it a little bit thicker. There's a reason for that. I want to belt it on top. I'm going to take a slice here, put that right over. And now I can actually take this off the flame, off the heat source in this case, because that pan's going to retain all that heat. It's really important to remember that if you leave something in a pan, it's just going to keep cooking. Because the pan itself is still hot, right? So, we'll go ahead and grab our spinach. We'll go right in the middle of the plate here. All right, there we go. Are. Should be good to go for our steaks. Grab them out. Put these on top. Now what's cool about this, guys, is that as that blue cheese sits on top of that steak, it's just going to continue to melt. Blue cheese is a soft rind cheese, so it'll continue to melt, and it'll melt very quickly. So, all right. All right. So, let's talk about our dish. This is a pan-seared filet mignon topped with Castello blue cheese, and it's served on sauteed spinach with ginger garlic paste. So, a few notes about this dish. One, we used pan searing, which is a high heat cooking method. Very important to note, you want a nice hot pan, preferably cast iron, when you're using this cooking method. We use very little fat in our pan. The fat actually goes on the meat that we're searing, not in the pan itself. The second method we used when cooking the spinach was sauteing. Sauteing is very little heat, low to medium heat, and you want just a tiny bit of fat in your pan, just enough to coat the pan. So I used about a tablespoon of olive oil, of extra virgin olive oil, and it's just really meant to sort of wilt and wilt the spinach in our case. That being said, thank you very much for tuning in to our very first episode of The Sleeve Chef. Thank you very much for Allison, Liz, and Mary for asking such wonderful questions. Any feedback you have would be great. Please feel free to comment on the Sleeve Chef page, or if there's a dish you'd like to see us do, please comment there as well. Other than that, thank you very much, everybody. Once again, my name is Michael Salomon. I am the Sleeve Chef. Bon appetit. Thank you again.